Helen Mirren has long been celebrated as one of the most commanding and graceful actresses of her generation. From her Oscar-winning performances to her unforgettable roles on stage and screen, she has captivated audiences with talent, poise, and undeniable charisma. But behind the glamour, accolades, and public admiration lies a story that few have fully seen. A story of personal tragedy, quiet struggles and moments of heartbreak that have quietly shaped the woman we admire today. At 80, the reality of her journey is far more emotional than any role she has ever played. While fans remember her for the elegance, confidence, and strength she exudes on screen, Helen's personal life has not always mirrored the perfection Hollywood presents. Over decades, she has faced loss, health scares, and the profound loneliness that often comes with fame. For someone who spent a lifetime portraying powerful figures and iconic characters, these personal challenges were carried in silence, away from the cameras and public scrutiny. Even as awards ceremonies celebrated her brilliance, Helen faced trials that tested her resilience far beyond anything scripted in her films. Now, as she reflects on decades of extraordinary achievements, the impact of these personal tragedies becomes painfully clear. Friends and family who know her closely reveal moments of deep sorrow and vulnerability that fans never witnessed. While the world applauds her talent and longevity, Helen Mirren's private battles remind us that even legends are human, and even icons are not immune to loss, heartache, and the fragility of life. And yet, what makes her story so compelling is not the sorrow itself, but the courage, dignity, and determination with which she has navigated it all. Helen Mirren has endured heartbreak quietly, with grace, ensuring that her legacy is one of artistry and strength, even when the world wasn't watching. And the trials she faced could have easily broken her spirit. Helen Mirren has spent over half a century commanding screens and stages around the world, captivating audiences with her talent, charm, and unshakable presence. Yet behind the accolades, awards, and public admiration lies a life marked by personal trials that few truly understand. From the outside, she seems untouchable, confident, composed, and timeless. But those closest to her reveal a more fragile side, a woman who has endured heartbreak, loneliness, and challenges that no audience ever witnessed. While her performances display mastery, the private struggles that shaped her resilience are rarely discussed. Yet they form the foundation of the person she became. Even at the height of her fame, Helen faced pressures that went beyond memorizing lines or preparing for award ceremonies. Friends and colleagues often noticed subtle signs, moments of quiet fatigue, private reflections, or pauses that suggested a weight she carried silently. Managing personal relationships while maintaining a global career required a delicate balance. She had to navigate the scrutiny of Hollywood, the expectations of fans, and the inevitable gossip that comes with being an icon. Every public appearance demanded a level of composure that masked the challenges she faced in her private life. From family complexities to the emotional toll of aging in an industry obsessed with youth. The tragedies in Helen's life were not always dramatic or headline-grabbing, yet their impact was profound. She endured the loss of close friends, the distance from family due to career demands, and the quiet moments of isolation that can accompany fame. These were not fleeting challenges. They were ongoing pressures that tested her strength and determination. Even as she received standing ovations, walked red carpets, and won prestigious awards, Helen grappled with grief and emotional fatigue that were invisible to the world. Those private battles added layers of depth to her performances, allowing her to convey emotion and authenticity in ways few actors can. Despite everything, Helen Mirren remained unbowed. Her resilience is not only reflected in her career achievements, but in her ability to navigate life's hardships with grace and dignity. She endured the weight of personal loss while continuing to inspire millions, proving that strength does not always come from recognition, but from the ability to carry on quietly in the face of adversity. Her story at 80 is both a testament to her remarkable talent and a poignant reminder that even legends experience heartbreak. Helen's life illustrates that behind every celebrated public persona is a human being, facing struggles, enduring pain, and persevering with courage, a truth that makes her journey both inspirational and deeply heartbreaking. Helen Mirren has always been admired for her commanding presence and effortless elegance, but few know the private battles that shaped her life away from the cameras. While the world saw a confident, glamorous icon, Helen quietly wrestled with challenges that fame often amplifies rather than alleviates. From the relentless pressure to maintain a flawless public image, to navigating personal relationships under constant scrutiny, her life behind the spotlight was far more complex than any role she played. Each award, each red carpet appearance, and each critical accolade masked a woman who had learned to cope with heartbreak in silence, turning it into strength that fueled her art. Even as Helen's career flourished, she faced moments of deep personal struggle. Friends recall that she often retreated from social gatherings, preferring solitude when the weight of public expectation became too heavy. Fame brought admiration, but it also brought isolation, a paradox Helen had to navigate carefully. At times, the demands of her career meant long periods away from family, leaving her feeling disconnected despite the love and support of those closest to her. These private moments of solitude were not weakness, but necessary pauses that allowed her to process grief, maintain balance, and prepare herself emotionally for the challenges that life continued to present. Health concerns also cast shadows over her later years. Aging in Hollywood is rarely kind, even to someone as talented and revered as Helen Mirren. Beyond the physical realities of growing older, she had to contend with the emotional and mental toll of sustaining a career in an industry obsessed with youth. There were periods of exhaustion, subtle signs of fatigue, and moments when Helen questioned her capacity to continue performing at the level she demanded of herself. Yet she persisted. Every role she took on, every performance she delivered, was imbued with not just skill, but a lived experience shaped by personal trials that few could see or understand. Through all these struggles, Helen Mirren demonstrated resilience that transcended the glitz of Hollywood. She transformed heartbreak into artistry, grief into authenticity, and private pain into public triumph, proving that strength is often invisible. While audiences celebrated her on screen, Helen quietly endured, carrying the weight of loss, distance, and personal challenges with dignity. Her journey reveals a duality: the celebrated icon admired by millions, and the private woman who endured heartache and solitude, often unseen. At 80, this duality defines her story, a testament to human endurance, grace, and the emotional depth that has made her not only an exceptional actress, but a profoundly inspiring figure. Helen Mirren's life, though celebrated publicly, has been marked by moments of profound personal loss that few fans fully realize. Behind the elegance and poise was a woman who endured grief quietly, navigating the death of loved ones, the strains of family separation, and the emotional cost of long years in the spotlight. For someone constantly in the public eye, the pressure to maintain composure made private sorrow even more intense. Each tragedy left its mark, shaping the resilience that later defined both her life and career. But never before had she revealed the depth of this emotional burden to the world. Even as she continued to accept accolades and lead celebrated productions, Helen had to reconcile the duality of being a public figure and a private mourner. Colleagues often noticed fleeting moments, a pause in conversation, a reflective gaze, or a quiet withdrawal that hinted at unspoken struggles. These were not weaknesses, but reflections of a life lived intensely, where personal pain existed alongside professional triumphs. Over the years, Helen developed a remarkable capacity to compartmentalize, to honor her own emotional needs while continuing to meet the demanding expectations of her career and fans worldwide. The weight of these losses also affected her relationships. Maintaining family bonds while juggling international projects and media obligations was no simple feat. There were moments of tension, quiet misunderstandings, and the inevitable emotional distance that can arise when a life is split between private responsibilities and public demands. Friends who tried to provide support often encountered a woman fiercely independent, one who sought to carry her burdens alone, protecting both her personal life and the privacy of those around her. This delicate balance required an extraordinary level of emotional strength, one that few outside her inner circle could ever fully appreciate. Yet, through every heartbreak and period of sorrow, Helen Mirren remained unwavering in her dedication to her craft. The trials she faced did not diminish her talent. If anything, they enriched it. Every role she undertook reflected not just her skill, but her lived experiences, infusing her performances with authenticity, depth, and emotional truth. Her journey at 80 is a testament to endurance, a life where public admiration exists alongside private sorrow, where personal loss and professional triumph coexist, and where the true tragedy lies not in her achievements, but in the quiet hardships that have defined the woman behind the legend, Helen. Mirren's journey at 80 is defined not only by her remarkable talent, but by the quiet strength with which she has faced life's heartbreaks. While audiences celebrate her for iconic performances and award-winning roles, her true legacy lies in resilience, dignity, and courage. Through decades of personal loss, isolation, and private struggles, she has maintained her grace, proving that strength often exists in the unseen moments between applause and recognition. The trials Helen endured behind the scenes did not break her spirit. They forged it, shaping a woman capable of inspiring generations both on and off screen. Even with the challenges she faced, Helen's determination to remain an active, vibrant presence in film and theater never wavered. She refused to allow age, health concerns, or personal grief to dictate her career or limit her creative choices. By continuing to work, Helen demonstrated that perseverance is not just about professional achievement, but also about refusing to surrender to life's difficulties. Her commitment to her craft, even in the face of adversity, serves as a model for how resilience and artistry can coexist, turning private suffering into public inspiration. The impact of her personal journey extends far beyond her career. Friends, colleagues, and family members who have witnessed her private struggles describe a woman of profound empathy and unwavering resolve. Helen has navigated the balance between fame and intimacy, public acclaim and personal grief, teaching those around her that true courage is not always visible on the stage or in front of the camera. Her ability to confront life's hardships while maintaining authenticity and compassion underscores the depth of her character, reminding us that heroes are not only made in films, but also in the choices they make when no one is watching. Ultimately, Helen Mirren's story is one of triumph over tragedy, of artistry shaped by life's realities, and of a legacy that transcends accolades. She has endured heartbreak quietly, faced aging and loss with dignity, and remained an emblem of strength for millions worldwide. At 80, her journey reminds us that even the most celebrated icons experience profound challenges, and it is the grace with which they navigate those trials that defines them. Helen Mirren leaves behind more than a cinematic legacy. She leaves a life lesson in courage, perseverance, and the power of facing tragedy with unwavering dignity. A story that is as heartbreaking as it is inspiring.